Leg lowering 1. Let's go ahead. I'm going to be the doorway. You can use a doorway, you can use a squat rack, anything that's stable. If you're in a group environment, we like to use resistance bands. So go ahead, let's raise one up. I'm going to pretend to be a door. So he's just able to rest this leg and he's going to let the opposite leg drop. Raise it up. Just give me one more, Steve. Good. After Steve has this movement down, he's getting competent in this movement. We would, of course, hit both sides. We're going to go into leg lowering 2. So now he's going to have to learn how to separate the hips. We want to make sure he's not getting any motion out of the lumbar spine. He's able to maintain core stability and also getting a good breath with this. So he's learning how to control his breath. Exhale, just give me one more rep. Good, and rest. So we're going to take him through both leg lowering variations. After Steve would get, you know, a certain level that we're looking for there, we're going to take him into a Cook hip lift. So now we're going to make sure we're going to lock. He's going to squeeze this knee. Well, while he does that, what this does is basically it kind of shifts the hips into a good posterior tilt and it helps lock in that lumbar spine. So now what I want you to do is drive through your heel, Steve. Raise straight up. Good. And then bring it back down. Now you can work this through a series of reps. We can go to where Steve would hold for a second at the top and then lower. And we're just making sure he's getting good glute involvement on this right side here, adequately opening up the front of his hip. So now those are our floor-based exercises, what we're doing today. Let's go ahead and stand up. We're going to go through some toe touching. Before we get into deadlifting, you should be able to touch your toes. So deadlift swings, we want to make sure Steve can touch his toes. Before I even go into that, just give me a toe touch. Let's see where your toe touch is at today. So feet together, we want to test his toe touch. Right now, he's about an inch from his toes. Were you trying? He's been working on this a little bit lately, so we need to clear this up before. I want to make sure we can get him down to his toes. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this board. You can just use a 2x6, something to prop the toes up. You can use a weight plate, anything to create this weight balance. He's going to breathe in as he comes up. Breathe out as you go down. Let's just go 5 reps today, Steve. I want to make sure he can get his toes too. Whenever somebody's really stiff and limited, they may only get down a little past their knees, mid-shin. I'm going to allow them to actually bend their knees just a little bit so they can actually get the confidence that they can actually get those toes. He has that yoga block in between the thighs too. You want to make sure you really squeeze that, feet together. That's going to help and get the core fired up as we do this. So put that block back in there. Now he's shifting so his heels are going to be up on the board. Again, his feet are together. He's going to breathe in through the nose. Exhale. Good. And if Steve wasn't able to get his toes there, I would allow just a little knee bend so he could get those toes. I want to give him some confidence that he can get down there and get those toes. I want him to keep the legs as straight as possible. And that last little bit, if he's got to bend the knees, I'm okay with that. Good. Now let's just retest your toe touch. This does a great job. Good. Now that gave us that extra inch, inch and a half that he was shy. Does a great job. I've seen people very restricted get here just by adding that quick toe touch progression, practically be able to touch their toes in the matter of like 60 seconds. Now we're going to go into our RDL with the final stop being the kettlebell swing. So let's go into a stick RDL. Steve's going to let the stick be his spine. So now it's going to touch his head, shoulders, butt. This is a great way to teach the hip hinge pattern. Let's go ahead, shift your weight back, soft bend in the knees, nice long neck, keeping the packed neck. Good. So you'll brace, reach back, exhale as you come up. So we're looking for just a minimal knee bend, 3 points of contact, feeling this basically bite in the glutes and hamstrings. As soon as he feels that, he's able to drive through the hips to elevate the chest. Then we're going to actually, once he's got that movement down, we're going to load that movement. He's going to go ahead, grab a kettlebell. We're going to take him through that exact same movement with a kettlebell RDL. So now let's just see what the kettlebell RDL looks like. So shift back, good. Exhale, finish tall at the top. Good, so again we're looking, nice long spine, packed neck. Finish it tall. Good, go ahead, deadlift it down to the ground, set it down. Good. The final stop here is the kettlebell swing. So this is where we're going to start to add some speed and power to it. So the kettlebell swing, if you notice Steve just put the bell out in front of him, we want to make sure that bell's out in front. So your first motion is a counter motion to hike up into the high groin. So Steve, I want you to, elbows are straight, wrist is straight. We don't have any energy leaks from the beginning. He's going to start by hiking high in the groin. I like to say attack the zipper. So he's going to attack and then explode through the hips. Now you can see this is a very dynamic version of the RDL. He's getting the weight shift back. Again, the spine stays nice and long. Just give me 2 more reps, Steve, and then set it down. And then make sure you set the weight down properly like that as well. You'll see a lot of people get done and then just start to flex the back to put the weight back down. We want to make sure they pick it up and set it down properly. But this is the way we use the kettlebell to go from a dysfunction all the way up to our higher levels.